Well, you know, I was 16, 17. I was just like, you don't really want to go with your dad. You don't want to talk about private things. You just don't want that. I just want to go on my own. I think I was old enough. In the future, I'd have to have gone on my own. You can't always have your dad with you forever, so it was just time.
Now Luke, when he goes to the doctor, he goes on his own. He's able to use the email, the fax. He's independent.
Before, it was only fax that they used. I said, I'd like to be able to use email, it's easier. Technology's moved on and I'd be able to do that from my phone. So eventually they accepted it, and now life's a lot better as I can do it myself now.
So when he books an appointment, the general practitioner will book the interpreter themselves. The GP knows Luke is deaf.
The first time they had no idea how to book an interpreter. So I explained that there's a local agency called Deaf Connect that provide interpreters. So they use them now. So the interpreters go through them and it's much easier.
Are you Luke?
Are you the interpreter?
Yes, I'm Simon.
It was interesting in the past, there was no sort of technology. There was no touchscreen, no way of being told when my appointment was. I'd have to go to reception and explain that I was deaf, give them my name in written form. They'd say maybe if there's an interpreter waiting in the waiting room, but now it's all done on a touchscreen, so I just type in my own name and go straight to the waiting room. I don't need to go to reception at all. It's great, it's much more accessible. There's a screen where my name comes up. It's great. And then my name just comes up and it tells me the room number that I need to go to. So it's much easier. In the past, the interpreter would have to let me know.
Does that mean you have to sit staring at the screen?
No. I've got a problem with my elbow. When I'm writing, it seems to be really quite sore and I'm not sure how it's happened.
Do you mind if I have a quick look in that area?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just going to touch that area and feel it. Is that okay?
The first time I went, yeah, of course, I was naturally nervous. Like the same as everybody else, just with that little bit of extra nerves. But then, as it went on and I went into the consultation, having the interpreter there is a huge help because I knew I was able to communicate. Without an interpreter, I'd have been lost. So the interpreter being there was a big thing, and obviously I'm used to it now. I can remember one experience. I arrived with my interpreter, went into the room and expecting the doctor to have a seat next to them so that I'd be opposite. But no, they put the interpreter next to me. So we moved the chair around and explained to the doctor, and they obviously realised and apologised. I said it's fine, it's okay. But then more recently now it's always been in the right position, so that's great.
I'd encourage all parents to try to encourage their children to contact their GP by email or potentially fax. Maybe even ask if they will accept SMS and text message. Some GPs do. So it's worth certainly encouraging them, your child to feel confident as they're not going to be with their parents forever.
If they feel ready to go on their own, I think that's great. That's exactly what's needed. It's just important to prepare. You can't be there and expect the interpreter and everything to be perfect necessarily. There will be problems and you're going to have to be in a position and confident enough to be able to talk to reception or to anybody else, the GP, because you've got the right. It's important that we have access.